Welcome. Today we are about to witness a craftswoman Montwood build a beautiful wooden canoe. Her dedication to classic design transforms raw timber into a balanced, efficient vessel. Lean back and enjoy the artistry required to bring this stunning craft to life. The foundational step in any complex build requires absolute precision. Translating scaled blueprints into life-sized physical templates is critical. By meticulously transferring paper patterns onto a corkboard backing, the builder ensures that the underlying geometry and proportions of the hull remain perfectly accurate. These carefully crafted templates act as precise guides for the bend, allowing the builder to shape the heavy plywood station molds. These temporary structural forms are the absolute backbone of the project, as they will ultimately dictate the canoe's iconic curves and its overall balance. A rigid, leveled strongback skeleton is assembled to support the build. Spacing these plywood molds at exact intervals along the spine is a make-or-break moment. Any slight misalignment here would cascade into severe structural flaws, compromising the vessel's final symmetry and tracking ability. With a foundational form perfectly aligned, the focus shifts to milling the hull material. Long, clear-grained wooden planks are steadily ripped on a table saw into thin strips. This transforms rigid lumber into highly flexible components necessary to sweep around the complex curvature of the molds. In strip-built watercraft, dimensional consistency is paramount for a smooth exterior. Every single wooden strip is methodically fed through a heavy-duty thickness planer. This step ensures a uniform gauge across hundreds of feet of lumber, which is vital for preventing weak spots and achieving a fair hull. Utilizing a specialized router setup, bead-and-cove joints are milled along the edges of every strip. This brilliant joinery technique acts like a hinge, allowing the rigid wooden strips to interlock seamlessly and tightly wrap around the mold's most demanding compound curves using high-quality wood glue. Applying and clamping the interlocking strips to the station forms is a test of immense patience and precision. Excess material must be systematically trimmed away with a handsaw to maintain the developing ensuring the boat's top edge remains perfectly symmetrical as the sides build upward. Even the most dedicated master boat builder requires brief interludes from the intense focus of the workshop. A quick pause allows the heavily applied wood glue to properly cure, while also offering a charming, light-hearted glimpse into the playful antics of the builder's lively feline companions. Returning to the hull construction, the planking process settles into a highly rhythmic, almost meditative workflow. Each subsequent strip demands a repetitive cycle of careful measuring, dry fitting, applying liberal amounts of adhesive, and securely clamping it into its final position to ensure a watertight seal. Navigating the notoriously tight curves of the canoe's bilge requires an expert touch. By applying targeted heat with a heat gun, the natural lignins in the wood soften. This makes the timber incredibly pliable, allowing it to bend sharply without snapping under the immense tension of the curve. As the wooden strips finally converge along the center line of the hull, meticulous trimming and careful routing become essential. Ensuring these crucial centered joints meet perfectly flushed is a demanding task, but it is entirely necessary to close the bottom of the hull flawlessly without unsightly gaps. The bottom of the hull is finally enclosed by custom fitting the challenging whiskey planks. These ultimate centerpieces must be shaped to exact tolerances and then gently tapped into place with a mallet. Their insertion dramatically transforms the hollow shell into a continuous, visually striking wooden canvas. The jagged, overlapping strip ends at the bow and stern are cleanly trimmed flush. Traditional hand planing then begins the highly critical phase of fairing the hull. This laborious process removes high spots and refines the exterior into an incredibly smooth, aerodynamic surface for effortless gliding. Following extensive sanding to prepare the bare wood, the focus shifts to vital structural reinforcement. Woven fiberglass cloth is carefully draped over the entire hull and saturated with marine-grade epoxy resin. This essentially encapsulates the beautiful wood core within an incredibly durable composite shell. Once the initial bonding coat completely cures, the rigid excess fiberglass is trimmed away. Subsequent coats of epoxy are meticulously applied to completely fill the texture of the fiberglass weave. This is followed by aggressive sanding to achieve an absolutely flawless, glass-like smoothness across the hull. A high-quality clear, marine varnish is rolled on, providing essential UV protection to prevent the epoxy from degrading while enhancing the wood's natural grain. With the exterior protected, attention shifts to crafting the canoe's essential engine, a beautifully customized, perfectly balanced, solid wood paddle. The paddle's design begins by drawing a tailored silhouette onto a solid blank before roughing out the shape. Crafting a bespoke paddle is a specialized art form. It ensures the blade and shaft perfectly match the individual paddler's unique stroke mechanics and reach for maximum efficiency. Shaping the paddle requires an exceptional feel for the wood. Traditional, razor-sharp hand tools, such as block planes and spoke shaves, are expertly utilized to gradually taper the flat blade and perfectly round the central shaft, creating a highly ergonomic profile that reduces fatigue on long journeys. Fine-tuning the crucial top grip involves delicate and precise chisel work to ensure a comfortable fit in the palm. The entire paddle is then meticulously sanded through multiple grits to erase all remaining tool marks, guaranteeing a remarkably fluid, blister-free feel when pulling through the water. The paddle's ergonomics undergo a rigorous visual and tactile inspection. The artisan ensures the blade is thinned enough to slice the water silently and efficiently, yet retains enough structural thickness along the central spine to withstand the heavy, repetitive torque of deep-water power strokes. To prevent the delicate wood from splitting when inevitably striking submerged river rocks, the paddle blade receives its own specialized reinforcement. A thin layer of fiberglass and epoxy is applied and squeegeed aggressively, ensuring maximum durability with minimal addition to the overall swing weight. A major, incredibly satisfying milestone in the build is reached as the hardened, fully exterior finished hull is gently broken loose. It is carefully lifted completely off the heavy internal skeletal station molds for the very first time, finally revealing the freestanding, lightweight nature of the vessel. Flipping the newly liberated hull over reveals a chaotic interior covered in hardened glue drips. Highly labor-intensive hand planing and aggressive cabinet scraping are absolutely necessary to carve away the excess adhesive and smoothly fare out the complex inner concave surfaces of the wooden shell. After meticulous interior sanding, the inside of the hull is also reinforced with a layer of fiberglass cloth. Encapsulating the wooden strips between two hardened layers of fiberglass creates a stressed skin composite material, resulting in a canoe that is phenomenally rigid, incredibly strong, yet epoxy resin is carefully applied to saturate the interior fiberglass reinforcement. While this massive surface area slowly cures, the builder wastes no time. Immediately returning to the table saw to begin precision milling the long, continuous wooden strips required for the canoe's critical upper framing. The freshly milled in-wales and out-wales, collectively known as the gunwales, are glued and installed along the top raw edges of the hull. This critical step provides immense structural rigidity to the otherwise flexible open design, while beautifully protecting the canoe's fragile shear line from harsh impacts. Dozens of heavy-duty spring clamps are required to securely hold the stiff gunwales tightly against the hull's curves, while the structural adhesive fully cures. Simultaneously, the builder maximizes efficiency by applying leftover epoxy and fiberglass to essential accessory components prepped for the interior. Once the shear line is flawlessly sanded flush, work begins on the index. These custom-fitted, elegantly shaped triangular wooden caps are meticulously prepared. They serve a dual purpose, sealing off the vulnerable bow and stern cavities while significantly reinforcing the very ends of the canoe. The finished end decks are glued and tightly clamped into position. Next, the central carrying yoke is carefully shaped out of thick hardwood on the bandsaw. Its curved edges are smoothly routed to ensure the heavy canoe can be comfortably portaged, inverted, across the paddler's shoulders. The meticulously contoured carrying yoke is permanently secured dead center within the hull. This placement is heavily calculated to balance the canoe perfectly for solo transport. These final structural finishing touches completely prepare the interior of the vessel for its custom-built seating arrangements. A final, protective exterior spray varnish is applied to seal the finish. Work then immediately transitions to constructing the seating. This involves highly precise measuring and drilling into the freshly milled, premium hardwood components that will form the sturdy external frames for the woven seats. The assembled wooden seat frames are cleanly routed to remove sharp edges. The series of perfectly spaced perimeter holes being drilled are absolutely critical, as they serve as the intricate, heavy-duty anchor points required for the traditional, time-consuming art of hand-weaving the cane seating surface. Custom wooden guide pegs are turned on a small lathe to assist in managing the tension during the weaving process. The builder then settles in for the tedious but highly rewarding historic art of stringing the soaked natural cane fibers through the pre-drilled hardwood seat frames. Hand-weaving natural cane is a traditional technique that provides an incredibly breathable, exceptionally lightweight, and highly durable seating surface. This historic method perfectly maintains the authentic, vintage aesthetic that is completely synonymous with classic, handcrafted cedar strip canoes built by master artisans. The final, complex diagonal strands are painstakingly threaded through the rapidly tightening weave. This demanding step fully completes the intricate, interlocking hexagonal pattern that gives the finished traditional cane seat its incredible tensile strength and beautifully classic, timeless aesthetic appeal. Custom-fitted, wooden splines are forcefully hammered into the perimeter grooves to permanently lock the woven cane fibers into place. The beautifully completed, highly functional seat is then carefully suspended from the canoe's gunwales. With the final seating hardware secured, this ambitious build is complete. We owe a debt of gratitude to the master builder, Montwood. We thank him for his tireless dedication and extraordinary hard work in bringing this vessel to life. To explore more of this artist's incredible journey, please visit the link in the description to her channel, where you can admire her full collection of videos. All relevant links are available in the channel description for your convenience. We are truly inspired by the sheer dedication and masterful skill displayed throughout this project. Thank you immensely for taking the time to watch this video and appreciate the artistry involved. Your thoughts and feedback are valuable. Please feel free to share your comments below and join the conversation.